Welcome back to the Lone James channel. It's me, Jordan. Today's story is going to be about the time that I smoked inside a school bathroom. I tried rolling my first joint terribly. On this day, my sophomore year of high school, on 4/20, I made it a mission for me to get high that day, no matter what situation. I was obligated to get baked as fuck. So I knew the first step was me to get bud. So like, how else am I gonna smoke on 4/20 if I am dry and I don't have any bud? So I successfully copped some bud. It was, I think, some indica. I don't remember, but I remember it being really fluffy and it was just nice. It smelled good. For being a beginner, I'm pretty sure that was some top shelf. I don't know, but I knew the guy always had the best stuff, so I knew it was not some BS. As I completed my first step of having bud, now step 2. I don't know how I got papers, but I think he was able to give me papers. So step 2 was finding a way to being able to smoke this. Now, me having papers and I don't even know how to roll, but I was confident enough, like, oh, I'll figure it out as I go on. So on this 4/20, it was probably a Friday, I remember. I woke up a bit early to get myself ready for school. I got my bud and my papers, and I start walking to the park that's like in my little neighborhood. So as I'm there, I take out my stuff. So I start grabbing the bud and the papers, and I tried rolling the joint terribly. First of all, I literally put 3 nugs in a paper and just rolled it. I didn't even grind it up. It was literally 2 full-grown nugs put in a piece of paper and rolled up. Somehow, I don't know why I thought I was gonna light or that I was even gonna try to burn. As I finished rolling this trash joint, I proceed to spark it up. All the times I smoked prior to this, I've had the luxury of someone either rolling it for me or out of a bong. I haven't done the whole Apple thing yet, but what I have done is like smoking out of a water bottle, which we will get into that in the future. As I'm trying to light this joint, I remember clearly, I put the joint in my mouth and I'm lighting it, and like I'm inhaling it as they're lighting it. If you guys smoke weed or if you've ever lit a joint, you know the whole process. You know, you spark it up like this. Well, some people spark it up different ways, but I personally, when I spark up my joints, I put it in my mouth and I spark it, inhaling it, and that's how I start lighting up my joints. Usually that works, but when you're rolling a joint without grinding up bud and just 3 full-grown nugs, it's not gonna light up, and that's what happened. It wasn't lighting up. I was so confused because my dumbass didn't know this is not the proper way to roll a joint. I kept trying. And I kept trying to burn it, and I couldn't get it to light, and it was getting tight, and I started to lose hope, kind of, and the bus was almost about to come. Like, I was running out of time. As I got on the bus, I'm not gonna lie, I felt kind of buzzed. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's because I burned a little bit of terpenes, but for some reason I felt like pretty good, but nowhere near stone, not even toasty. I felt something. Definitely felt something. It could just be also because since it was like when my tolerance is so low and I easily could get high of like the smallest hits, I think that's probably why I was able to feel something out of that trash joint, because I barely even lit. As I get to my first period class, I remember it was English, and I had my boys in there. I had Joey and I had John in there actually. I remember I told them my story about my whole situation, about how I tried to smoke before school because I wanted to be high in school on 4/20. I told them I was like a little toasty, like I was a little like high, but I wasn't feeling the way I wanted to feel. So I knew that period that I cannot give up. I knew that I had to get high that day, no matter what. I knew, even if I had to smoke in the bathroom. So I remember how to make a water bottle gravity bong out of the most simplest materials. All a person needs is a water bottle, a pencil, and then obviously bud and a lighter. So after I finished that first period, I went into my second period, which was my math class. But you know damn well I was not trying to pay attention the whole entire time in class. My mission was to get high that day in school. So as soon as I get into that classroom, I sat in my chair and then I let the teacher do her thing, right? I try not to make it so obvious, you know. I try playing along the first couple minutes, and then as the period settles in, I start working on my contraption. So then I grab my water bottle, I chug it because, you know, I needed an empty water bottle. And then I grab my pencil. So what you do with the pencil is basically there's like this silver, you know, the top of the pencil where there's like this silver little holder that holds the eraser. You need that eraser holder, that metal piece. Basically, I take the eraser out and then I try my best to like push out that little metal piece that holds the eraser. So once I successfully get that out, I start making a hole on the water bottle cap. The best way to do it is basically using the same pencil you had with the eraser holder, mainly because once you make that hole, you're gonna have to put that eraser holder in that hole. So basically what that holder is where you're gonna be placing your grass. It's basically like a bowl piece. You know, if anybody used a bong, you know how you pack your bud inside the bowl piece. That's basically what it is. It's your bud holder. It's how your tree is gonna be in place. So as I'm making this contraction, as the teacher's doing her thing, I don't know what she was teaching that day, but it was either important or probably not important. What was important to me that day was finishing this gravity bong and getting high. Or as I complete that, I now wait until I get to my next period. So this next period is like a study hall, basically in a classroom, and it was just me and like 6 other people. So it was a small study hall, and obviously the teacher. As I get into the class, I didn't do it off the rip. I wanted to like still be low-key about it. I wasn't trying to stink the whole classroom and cause attention to myself, especially to this teacher, because I feel like this teacher didn't like have any idea that I smoked, or they didn't know that I like to smoke weed. So I was still trying to, you know, keep that a secret from her, so she didn't start having a suspicion towards me to other things. My plan was to go to the bathroom when it was like the last 15 to 20 minutes. So as I get to that point, I asked to use the bathroom. And how I was able to bring this contraption with me along with the bud was I used to have like this like fishtail trench coat jacket. Back in the day, Kanye used to wear this like fishtail jacket. It was like this trend thing, and I had one myself, so that's why I had my stuff with me. As I walk out the classroom, go down the hallway, and I start going to the specific bathroom that's in my school, because I knew this bathroom had a window, and you know, once I light it, it's gonna smell, and at least it would air out in some way. It wasn't gonna completely take out the smell. I knew that for sure, because it was some za, you know, we not smoking that trash, so no matter what, it was gonna reek. As I get into the bathroom, before I put the water in the water bottle, I burnt a hole at the bottom. That hole at the bottom is where the water is gonna come out. So as the water is coming out, it's pulling the bud. It's like when you're inhaling, so it's slowly dragging the bud, and it's like filling up the water bottle with smoke. So that's why water is important. I go to the sink. I start filling up this water bottle. After I fill it up, I open the window, and then I go into one of the stalls. It didn't matter. The whole bathroom was completely empty, so that was a pro. I had to speed it up, right? So I was moving fast. I was like swiftly opening the window, opening the bathroom door, and then as I'm in the stall, I start packing my bud. So I start putting the bud on top of the piece, like on the metal piece that I said on top of the water bottle. I light the bud on top. So basically, imagine this is the water bottle. The bud's are here. My finger is holding the bottom piece where I put the hole. That's where the water is gonna come out, right at the bottom. So I'm letting it on top. And then as I'm lighting it on top, I let go of my finger at the bottom, and the water's coming out. As the bud is burning, it's cherrying up, the water's coming out, and as the water's coming out, the water bottle is slowly filling up with smoke and milking up, and it's getting dank. It's getting mad smoking in the water bottle. So once all the water is out of the water bottle, you take the cap off and you go, and literally you're gone. If you're a beginner, that shit will send you. You are now faded. You are now gone. So since this was like the earlier days of me smoking, I was so fucked up. The spins didn't kick in yet. I used to get the spins, but they didn't kick in yet. Keep in mind, I'm trying to move fast because I just smoked in the bathroom. Paranoia is a thing in weed, so I was already a little paranoid. So because the bathroom's still empty, anybody can come in at any point. A student, a teacher, and if a student came in, it could be a cool student, or it could be a fucking rat, or like a fucking nosy ass student that's gonna probably, you know, tell on me. So I inhale the smoke and I exhale out the window, and I throw the water bottle in the trash, and I just walk out the bathroom. I start walking normally to class, normally back, you know, down the hallway, whatever. I think it was like 5 minutes left. So I get to class. Like I said, there's 5 minutes left. I get my bag and then I start lining up the door. So as I'm at the door waiting to leave, I know damn well my eyes are so red and so low. I probably look high as fuck. And this classmate of mine, she told me, it's like, Jordan, you stink, you reek, you smell like a whole skunk. We leave the classroom. I told her what I did, and she told me the teacher had made a face when I walked by to get my bag at my desk, because my desk was literally across from the teacher's desk. So she told me, like, when you walked by the teacher, she made like a face, like a ooh, that smells nasty. And I died laughing. Now that I completed my mission, I am baked. Now I have to survive in high school without getting caught, and hoping no teacher or anybody realizes the smell down the hallway in that bathroom. So I was a little paranoid, not gonna lie. Luckily, the next period after that was lunch. So I was chilling at lunch. This is when the spins kicked in. I started feeling woozy, but luckily, my lunch period was kind of chill. I had some good friends in that lunchroom, so I was chilling. I started going online with them to get my lunch, and I remember, I think it was pizza that day, so I started eating good. I go back to the lunch table, and then as I'm eating, my friends at the table start telling me, Jordan, your eyes are so red. I was probably like so baked. I was looking around because I was still a little bit paranoid, and like the principal and like anybody that was like either suspicious of the bathroom or whatever. I don't get paranoid anymore, but definitely in the earlier times when you're trying to hide it from people and you don't want it to be known or you can get in trouble, you can definitely feel paranoia as an effect of weed. As I'm trying to survive through the rest of this period, laughing it up, I was dating this girl at the time, and she was trying to walk me to classes. When I tell you I could barely walk, I don't know how I got to my class after she dropped me off, because as I'm walking down the hallway after I leave the cafeteria, all I see is the whole entire hallway like spinning, like hard. Low-key, I had a headache, and I think I was trying to avoid all eye contact as possible. So as she's helping me walk through the hallway, I'm just looking at the floor. That didn't help either. I was still having the spins, but I knew it was slowly gonna go away. That was only the bad part, because then throughout the rest of the school day, it was pretty okay. I was baked, I was high, I was having a great time in each of my classes. I think I was doing pretty well in my science class, because I was going in on my thesis that one time, because I just had a whole bunch of ideas coming through my head because I was just baked. I didn't get caught, but I never did it again, and I don't recommend anybody do it ever, because I don't know how I did it and I got away with it. I've heard people that smoked whole blunts in the bathroom and got in big trouble, or even try to do what I did and got caught. So I got lucky. Don't do what I did. So basically, after the girl I was seeing with at the time dropped me in my class, it was pretty smooth sailing because the spins stopped happening. I think the class I had next after cafeteria was like social studies or whatever. So in social studies, I started to come down and I started to lose the spins, and I was just normal high. Earlier days of me smoking, my high would like last 5 hours. Now that should be lasting an hour and 30 minutes. Yeah, I just wanted to share that story with you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy.